What's up everyone? So I kind of want to keep this trend going of iPhone comparisons on iOS 12, and I haven't even done one in a minute, but I kind of want to compare the iPhone 6s Plus and the iPhone 7 Plus in the later part of 2018. Now I've already done a comparison for this year, but a lot of things have changed since then. We've seen new iPhones, a new budget iPhone, the iPhone XR, and we've seen a new OS version that both these phones got. So I kind of want to not only see the specs, compare the specs, camera, all that stuff, but I also want to do a speed comparison between some apps as well. And I just got a new desk, so it's not going to shake that much anymore, thank God. If you want to skip to the speed comparison, I'll put a thing up in the screen, a timestamp. You guys can just go skip to that if you want to. But if you want to stick around, I would really appreciate that. But in terms of the bodies, I'll definitely say the 7 Plus has the one up here. I like the 7 Plus. I had both of these as main phones. It was my main phone. It was the thing I used it for everything. And the 7 Plus's body was just amazing. The jet black version that I had, it was crazy. It was like life-changing. I wish every phone could look like that. I guess they stopped it. I don't know why, but the 7 Plus definitely has the edge here. You'll see that the front looks pretty much the same, but one thing I want to note, okay, and if you're ever getting a 7 Plus or 6s Plus used, it'd probably be the way to go, honestly. Like, you save a lot more money that way. But one thing with the 7 Plus is that if you plan on, like fixing a part with it, if the screen cracked or whatever, you would have to go to the Apple Store to replace that if you want to retain the home button and Touch ID. So if you replace the screen on a 7 Plus yourself, like through eBay parts or something like that, the home button will actually stop working, and so will Touch ID. And that happened with my iPhone 7. That's why my 7 Plus right now is cracked, because I'm about to go to the Apple Store to fix it, but I don't know if it's worth it or not. It's really not even that big of a deal. The performance is still going to be the same. But with the 6s Plus, however, you can go get a third-party display on eBay or whatever OEM part and replace it yourself, and the home button will still work. Everything will still work as long as you retain the same motherboard and everything. But with the 7 Plus, if the screen is changed, you won't be able to use it, which does suck, because the 7 Plus, like I said, has the vibration motor in the home button. And looking forward, I mean, if we're going in the trend of like buying used iPhones and buying used stuff in general, that's kind of an important thing to note, and I hate to say it because it's really annoying and I hate it, but it is what it is. Now, the iPhone 6s Plus came out in 2015 in September. The iPhone 7 Plus came out in 2016 in September, so they're only a year apart. These phones came out 2 and 3 years before, respectively, and I will say the jump from the iPhone 6s Plus to the 7 Plus really wasn't too crazy. I mean, you got a couple things. You got portrait mode, you got this and that, better performance, and extra gigabyte of RAM, but the jump from the 6 Plus to the 6s Plus was insanely crazy. That thing was, like, I've never seen a jump like that before on iPhones. No, I have, but in terms of performance, that was crazy. But in terms of the screens, like I said, everything is the same, 5.5 inches, 1080p panels, IPS. I really wish they would go into AMOLED at this point, but they already did, so I can't even complain about it. Now, one thing to note is they both have Force Touch, which is something the iPhone XR does not have, so you're still keeping that, retaining that on both. Now, in terms of software, this is where they're going to differentiate a little bit, okay? The iPhone 6s Plus started off on iOS 9. Right now, it's going to get iOS 12. If my assumptions are right, I'm saying that this phone's going to stop at iOS 13, and I hate to say it, I wish it would just go live forever because it's a great phone, but I think the iPhone 6s Plus is going to stop at iOS 13. Maybe it will get iOS 14, I don't know, but the iPhone 7 Plus started off getting iOS 10, and right now it's on iOS 12, obviously, and right now, if my assumptions are true, it's going to go up to iOS 14. So technically speaking, out of both these phones, the iPhone 7 Plus is going to last you longer in terms of software updates. But what I will say is, with the iPhone 6s Plus, I still think it's fast. I still think it's performance heavy. That even if it's not supported, I probably still tell people like, hey, like, it's still a very good option if you want to get it. Like, I know it's not supported anymore, but the performance is still pretty good, and they can't really take that away anymore since it's not being updated. And I'll probably tell people to do that if they want to get a super cheap iPhone, but it is what it is. I don't think it's going to get iOS 14, the iPhone 6s Plus, but I guess we'll see what happens. Now, in terms of these specs, okay, there's a little bit of difference here, but again, it's not really too crazy of an amount. So on the iPhone 6s Plus, it has the Apple A9 chip, a dual-core processor clocked at 1.84 GHz, and 2 GB of RAM, where the iPhone 7 Plus has the Apple A10 Fusion chip, a quad-core processor clocked at 2.34 GHz, and 3 GB of RAM. So in those specs, you'd probably say, and I would agree, like, yes, the 7 Plus is faster, like, no doubt about it. It's not like crazy amounts faster, and once we do the speed test, you'll see. But in my opinion, I think that the 6s Plus is still very good. And I'm not trying to like just ride the 6s Plus hype train too much, because like I said, I own both these phones. I like the 7 Plus way more than the 6s Plus, but I don't think the 6s Plus is like way slower than the 7 Plus. But with that being said, and the specs and kind of a gist of it, let's go ahead and do the speed comparison. Alright, we're going to do a little bit of a speed test now. This is the 7 Plus on the left, 6s Plus on the right, and we're just going to try our best. I have pretty much the same apps on both, so let's just get into it. Let's do the camera. 3, 2, 1. It looked like the 6s Plus had that orange thing in the middle first. Not that big of a deal though. Let's do photos. 3, 2, 1. It looks like they were both the same. Calendar. 3, 2, 1. It looks like the same again. Let's do mail, 3, 2, 1. I don't even know which one that was actually, to be honest. Let's do maps, 3, 2, 1. It looks like the 6S Plus was faster there. I was not expecting that. Maps isn't even that big of an app, to be honest, so that was pretty weird. Let's do clock, 3, 2, 1. Looks like the same, honestly. Let's do weather, 3, 2, 1. Looks like the 7 Plus might have been a little bit faster, but not by much. Let's do news, 3, 2, 1. I think the 7 Plus was a little bit faster there too. Let's do notes, 3, 2, 1. It looks like the 6S Plus was faster there, and like I said, these are both on 12.0.1, which is the latest version up until this point. Let's do stocks, 3, 2, 1. It looks like it was already open on the 7 Plus, and I honestly was not. All these apps, like I said, are closed in the back. You guys can see same exact apps. Let's do the App Store, 3, 2, 1. That looked pretty even on both, pretty surprising stuff. Let's do iTunes Store, 3, 2, 1. And it looks like the 6S Plus was faster there into loading everything. Pretty cool. Let's do iBooks, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, the 7 Plus was faster there, I think. I honestly wasn't even looking. Let's go ahead and jump to the second page. Now let's do the Watch app, 3, 2, 1. I think the 7 Plus was faster there too. Let's do Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. I think the 6S Plus was faster there, pretty weird. Let's do Facebook, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's do Twitter, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 7 Plus was definitely faster there. Let's do YouTube, 3, 2, 1. It looks like it's hesitating a little bit more, but it got into it faster, which was weird. I was not expecting that. Let's do Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And I think they should be about the same in my opinion. Maybe hopefully the 7 Plus is faster. I mean, if you're paying more for a phone, you should get better speeds in my opinion. Yeah, I think the 7 Plus was a little bit faster to get into it, but really they were like extremely close. Let's do Temple Run, 3, 2, 1. And it's looking like the 7 Plus is faster than the 6S Plus. Once it loads, yeah, 7 Plus is a little bit faster as you saw. Not like tons faster, but definitely noticeable. Let's go ahead and do Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is going to take a minute. Okay, it looks like the 7 Plus is loading up a little bit fast. You saw we're into it faster on the 7 Plus. The 6S Plus, we got into it later. Both on different stages, but the same loading speeds and everything. So the 7 Plus is faster than the 6S Plus in this test. Let's go ahead and show you the multi-core score. And you will see that the 7 Plus definitely does have a little bit of advantage over the 6S Plus. We have about a 30,000 point lead, 28,645, give or take. So about 28,000 points more, which is pretty good, I'll say. Definitely noticeable a lot, but in some cases you saw the 6S Plus was faster, so a little weird. Not that crazy though. I mean, definitely if you have a 6S Plus, going to a 7 Plus, just in terms of the speed increase, isn't going to be too crazy, but I still think there is like a little bit of increase. And that is pretty much that for the speed review and speed comparison, so enjoy the rest of the video. Alright, now that we're back, let's go ahead and look at the camera sensors. Now, both of them are pretty good. Now, the 7 Plus obviously is a lot better, and I like the 7 Plus camera sensor way more. You have 12 megapixel sensor on the 6S Plus. You can shoot 4K on it, 1080p at up to 120 frames per second. Pretty respectable frame rates. Or on the 7 Plus, you have two 12 megapixel sensors. The main one does have optical image stabilization. Both of them do on the 6S Plus and the 7 Plus. And you have the same video resolutions as the 6S Plus, 4K at 30 frames, 1080p at up to 120. And I'll say that both camera sensors are good, okay? Very baseline, they're very good. The 7 Plus is better, and the reason I say that is because not only because it has better hardware, but because the software as well. You know, you're able to do twice the amount of zooming into a photo, into a subject, than the 6S Plus, but you also have things like portrait mode and all these different features that the 7 Plus brings that the 6S Plus does not. I'll say that in terms of both of them, software is what's limiting the 6S Plus's camera. I wish Apple could have brought in some type of portrait mode kind of thing. You can do portrait mode on third-party apps from what I've heard, so I'd love to see something like that, but in terms of both, the 7 Plus does have the better sensor overall. In terms of the front cameras, I think they're both pretty good too. The 6S Plus has a 5 megapixel sensor, 1080p. You can shoot 1080p videos on it at 30 frames per second. The 7 Plus has a 7 megapixel front facing camera. You can also do 1080p at up to 30 frames per second. So both sensors are very good. The 7 Plus obviously is the winner here. I would take the 7 Plus over the 6S Plus any day. Now moving on to something that's a little bit different on both. The battery life, I would say, is better on the 7 Plus. Okay, we have a 2,750 mAh battery on the iPhone 6S Plus and a 2,900 mAh battery on the iPhone 7 Plus. And I would definitely say the 7 Plus has the advantage here. Not only is it bigger, but I feel like I got better battery life on the 7 Plus, which is weird to say because you would think, oh, it's a newer phone, it has better specs, more performance, this and that. But I think the Apple A10 Fusion chip really helped optimize the battery, and I don't say that a lot. I don't think these chipsets really have a lot to do with it, even though they probably do. But the craziest thing to me is that Apple actually went and increased the battery size this time. And not only did they increase it, but they made it like much better looking and all these crazy things. And I loved it, and I have so much respect for them doing that. I will definitely say the battery life is better on the 7 Plus, but it is kind of subject. I've seen a lot of other things, but on iOS 12 specifically, I think I've gotten better battery life on my 7 Plus, and standby time is better on the 7 Plus than on the 6S Plus. But it also depends on the battery size you have left in the battery health. So if you go into settings and you go into battery and battery health, if you have a 6S Plus or 7 Plus, you are still covered under Apple's whatever battery replacement program where you can replace the battery for $30. I would really recommend you doing that. They will allow you to do that up until the end of this year, so make sure you take advantage of that. You don't want to go and have a battery that's on like 70% because it's going to be pointless. You want to get the most battery out of it. So I would say if both these phones were at 100% right now, I think the 7 Plus might last a little bit longer in my opinion. Now, some other notable things to note: the 6S Plus does have a headphone jack where the 7 Plus does not. It's not really that big of a deal to me. I mean, I just use Bluetooth everything now, but it really just depends to you if that's a big deal or not. The 6S Plus also has Touch ID 2, where the 7 Plus does as well. So in terms of fingerprint sensors, you'll be good on both. The 7 Plus does have like a front-facing speaker effect, where the 6S Plus does not. I think the front-facing speaker effect is really cool. It's not really front-facing, it's just a stereo effect, and I like that a lot. So between the two, in the later part of 2018, both running iOS 12, which one should you get? I will say that the 7 Plus obviously is the better choice. I like the 7 Plus a lot more. Not only does it look better, I think it feels a little bit more premium if you get the jet black version, but also I just think it'll last you longer, and like that one's going to last you longer, an extra year. But what I will add though is that with the 6S Plus, if you can find it for a pretty good deal, if you can find one for like around 150, less than 150, I think it'd be a very good deal. I just made a video on the best iPhone under $200. And the 6S Plus was a contender. It was both the 6S Plus and the iPhone 7. The 7 Plus is a little bit more expensive, but I would still say like there's really not too much different between these two. If you're in a pinch and you need an iPhone that's going to last you at least like another year or two, the 6S Plus is definitely a good option. But if you have the money, if you have a little bit extra money, the 7 Plus is only going to last you longer and it's going to give you a better experience. So that's pretty much my take on it. I will leave links to a 6S Plus and a 7 Plus in the description below if you just want to quickly just get one. You don't want to just spend time finding a used one or whatever. The ones I link down below usually are certified refurbished, so they're a little bit cheaper and they're straight from Amazon, so you don't have to sign up for another website or anything. But you also help out the channel when you purchase things through that link too. So that is pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are down below. I do a lot more like iOS and iPhone comparisons. I talk a lot about the 7 Plus and the 6S Plus on that channel as well. So I think you guys will like that. So definitely check that link out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.